Etsy is a video game, and here's how to win it. I run a 7-figure Etsy print-on-demand business, but apart from that, I also play a ton of video games. And once I actually applied some video game principles to my business, everything just became a lot more fun and easier to deal with. Because just like a video game, Etsy has clear goals, skill trees, boss battles. Your revenue is actually your score, and you have to take really good care of your character. And your obstacles are just bosses waiting to be defeated so you can actually level up. Now, as we do in every game, we start at level 1. And at level 1, we're all newbies. We're so excited at this stage about the whole game, and we watch a lot of tutorials to actually learn about it and get better. But a big mistake that most of us do is actually get stuck at level 1 and not actually taking any action. We're just watching the tutorials over and over again. In order to actually proceed to level 2, we need to actually start the game itself. We need to create a shop and put up a few listings. We need to get out of our heads, not overthink things. Things doesn't have to be perfect. We just need to put up some bad listings in the beginning to get good ones later. And in order to do that, we need to start a shop and put up a few listings. That's how we can level up to level 2. Here at level 2, you've actually put up a few listings and you now have an Etsy store. But at this stage, you need to slay the boss of research. Many people get stuck at level 2 because they haven't really even gone to the boss and just seen that there is a monster that you need to slay, which is the monster of research. Because one of the most common mistakes that I see is that people just put up unresearched listings on Etsy, and they just put up stuff that they themselves think look great, but then they ask themselves, why am I not progressing? And the reason for that is because they haven't faced the research boss. And in order to level up here to level 3, you need to do research. You need to do research designs most importantly. And the 2 best tips that I actually have for this is to find 5 to 10 shops that you actually want to be like, use Everbee, and then go into the store and download their backend data so you can get a CSV file of their whole projected backend data. Then you can put all those in a Google Sheets file and just see which are the best selling listings from all of these shops. I have a whole video about this, which you can watch right here. But generally, this is really important to understand what actually makes a best-selling design, what makes a best-selling offer, how do they do their mockups, and most importantly, how can we make a better offer and a better design compared to the competition? And we do that by seeing the common denominators within all of these listings in this master sheet that we got from Everbee, and then we just apply all of these different elements, combine them in new ways. Like, let's say that you have a best-selling listing that has a cursive element and a best-selling listing here that has a college font element. What if you put those together and use a listing that has both a college font and a cursive font instead of having them separate in these 2 listings here? That's how we add value to the whole Etsy platform. But this just comes from research. So it's so key to just face the boss of research and go through every step here. The second most important tip I have with this is to use Printify Insights. With Printify Insights, you can actually see which are the top selling products overall that sells best on the Printify platform. This is such valuable information because we can see what's actually selling the best with people using Shopify, Amazon, or Etsy. That gives you just solid data on what actually works. If we just follow that to a T, just as an example, and I mean, this is current data that I've recently got out from Printify Insights. It's printed on May 5th, and today it's the May 13th when I'm recording this. But you can still see the best selling products to sell. If we sell within these categories, and preferably apparel, because this almost never change, the top 5 best products to sell on Printify, or best products to actually sell. If we sell some of this, we're in product categories that are actually in demand. And again, to even level up to level 3 in this whole Etsy game, we need to slay the boss of research. And those are the 2 best tips that I have for that. All right, so now you slayed the boss of research. You have your master list, and you also have chosen which products to sell on based on Printify Insights. This is great. Now you come to the 3rd boss, which is the boss of design. You're now a novice researcher as well, which will sit really nicely in your skill tree. But in order to slay the boss of design, you need to do a lot of things. And it's a big boss to slay because you need to make at least 100 designs that are based on research in order to actually slay this boss. Because this boss is pretty powerful. If you just make designs that you yourself actually want to make, like your weapons in this case, which would be your designs, they will be quite weak, which means you won't make any damage to the boss itself. And the boss will just kill you every single time because you're not making any damage with it. The only way to actually make damage with this boss is to have really well researched designs. which is why research is the second boss to slay. Now, in order to get good research designs, we just need to make a lot of designs in the beginning. We actually need to make 100 designs to actually get some good, well-researched designs, because the first type of research designs that we'll actually make will still be quite weak because we haven't done enough quantity in order to get to quality. So we need to make a lot of designs that are research in order to slay this boss. But apart from that, he has a second phase to his whole match, because once you've actually finished the first phase of the boss battle, you actually need to create mock-up templates in order to actually list the designs on Etsy. That's the second phase that you actually need to do. And again, this is all based on research and how we can actually make a better offer compared to the competition, using the research as a base of that. But once you actually have a couple designs from those 100 research designs that you actually made and great mock-up templates with a great offer, that's when you can actually even slay the second phase of the boss and proceed to level 4. All right, so now you're at level 4. You have put up some well-researched designs on Etsy. The key to get to level 5 is a lot different from all the other levels before you now. What you need to do now is actually experiment a lot. And what experimenting means in this case is to reflect on the whole progress, see what works, see what doesn't work, and do more of what works and do less of what doesn't work. And there's a big hack to this too that you can actually do to speed up the whole leveling system. And that's actually to team up with other team members that are at the same level as you. If you do that, you actually share your experience points as you go through your journeys, because one person might face a specific side boss, which could be like the copyright infringement boss. And once someone actually faces that copyright infringement boss, you actually learn how they dealt with that boss, which means that you also gained the experience points that they did from that side boss battle. Another person might face another type of boss as a side boss, and they might face the boss of procrastination. And once you actually see how they are slowly and steadily getting better with not procrastinating and with just progressing their whole business, you learn as well how they did it and how you can implement their learnings too. And which means that you also get the experience points that they got from that side boss. Super, super, super important stuff. And it's the biggest hack to actually make you progress faster, because you all share the experience points in the group you're in. It's so, so valuable. But again, the key thing about level 4 is to experiment a lot. So you reflect on what works and you improve and iterate. And once you know how to do things better, you improve the mockups, you improve the designs, you improve the offer. You see that, okay, this type of mockup setup did not work at all. So let's just redo all the mockups and fix those going forward. And you fix the best sellers from the listings that you actually have. And you iterate as fast as possible. The faster you actually implement the learnings that you get bonus experience points, which means that you will level up even faster. Because in order to actually proceed to level 5, you need to get daily sales. All right, so you made it. You actually got to level 5. Not many people get to this level because at this level, it's required you to do a lot of different things. But now to get to level 100, which is your intended goal, you need to do a lot of other things. And you also need to think of this whole thing as a continuous infinite game. And the only way to actually get and to proceed to level 100 here from level 5, it's a major leap. It's to just expand your skill tree and just add different skills in that skill tree. The fastest way that you can actually do it at this stage is to learn from an expert or a mentor, whatever you want to call it, because they can actually just pinpoint you to fix different things in your Etsy store. They might say you might fix the mockups, you need to fix this, you need to fix that, you need to fix the design, you need to fix the pricing, you need to fix the shipping times, whatever it is. But the best way is that you don't have to figure it out yourself in that case. You can let the mentor guide you and just say, hey, you should probably fix this thing. Because if you do that, I know that all of these other people, they do this thing here. But if you fix this thing, you will just speed run them instead. Because the experience points that you will get from just fixing this one thing, which will mean that you will actually get a major leap in experience points, which means that you will kill all the side bosses much more efficiently. But a key thing to level 5 too is to find rare collectibles. These would be books. Once you actually read a book, it's key to, because you will read a lot of books at this stage, to actually find the information that you need, or the nuggets of information that you actually need in order to level up. And the key thing about when you actually find these books is that you read them and you understand the principles, and then you just implement what you learn right away. You get bonus experience points if you actually do that, because once you actually implement it, that's when you've learned it. That's when you've actually gain the knowledge from the book itself. Just knowing about it theoretically does not count. You need to actually implement it going forward in order for it to actually give you experience points. So books are basically a great power-up in this whole Etsy game. Apart from that too, the thing that kind of stays the same at this stage, which is similar to level 4, is reflecting and iterating. But the key thing about this too is to learn new strategies, build upon the knowledge that you already have, implement new strategies, still experiment, still test, see what works, see what doesn't work. Because once you do this continuously, you just build a whole stack of knowledge. Again, when I say knowledge in this case, I mean that you've actually implemented the things that you learned. Not that you just know about it in your head. You need to just actually take things that you actually learned, implement it, because that's when you've actually learned something. So once you've actually learned something and you just build upon those learnings, at a specific threshold, you'll just level up and then level up again and then level up again. Because one thing you kind of realize, and if you test things out faster, the faster you actually level up. Because you learn that, okay, you learned this new strategy, it didn't work. This new strategy didn't work. Okay, this one strategy, the third one here, had some kind of good nuggets in it. So I'll keep that going forward, but scrap the rest. And once you do that, you just continuously learn, you continuously get better, and you continuously level up. And once you do this at continuously, you actually at a certain point will reach a threshold where you will actually have tested out so many strategies, so many different ways of doing this, that you will reach level 100 and you will hit the consistent daily sales that you actually have wanted from the beginning. You will hit the goal that you've always wanted to have. Now, a key thing to this whole process, because I really do gamify everything to make the boring parts of the whole business fun. And it makes it so much easier and so much more pleasurable to actually do the boring work. Because again, the key thing about this whole thing is to make the process fun. If you gamify everything, the boring work actually becomes fun. If you think about the boring stuff, which could be doing the P&L or doing the research part or whatever part that you feel are boring in the business, if you think about them with the right perspective, that you need to do the boring work in order to level up your character, because there's no way that you can actually level up your character without doing the boring work, then you can actually make the boring work fun. At least that's how it was for me, because then you can just gamify the boring work, because you can just see that, okay, if I just do the research this day and I hit the goals during the day of doing all my research on that specific day, then I've actually progressed my character and I've leveled up. And once you actually feel that momentum building, that you're making progress, it actually becomes fun to do the boring work, which is why I just think it's so important to gamify everything. That's what I've done, and it's helped me a ton to make the boring work fun.